Cool Figure TV. Revolutionary salute. Revolutionary salute. Like, share, subscribe. Welcome to the House of Revolution. You know I'm your humble host, the Yao Ming of Revolution, 1-year-old Precious. Baby killed over Pampers. You reap what you sow, and we tired of this shit. But before we get into that, y'all be sure to wipe y'all feet. That means hit the like button. You in the House of Revolution. Like, share, subscribe, support the platform, y'all. Well, I don't have nothing to say. I'm too pissed. I'm too angry. Just want to handle this content. You know, it's up. We tired, and we all out of patience. I know I am.
Tonight on Fox 13 News at 10, a community in mourning, a city on edge. A 1-year-old boy shot and killed by a police officer. Tonight, Mississippi's top investigators take over the case.
That it will be a thorough investigation, and it will be one where transparency is there.
Businesses boarded up, employees sent home as police prepare for a tense night. Organizers insist their message is peace, but justice cannot wait.
I don't forget each case that I fight for where these young black men, women as well, have died for nothing, and I'm tired of it.
Fox 13 News at 10 starts now.
Oh, okay, go. Oh. Okay, so they're shooting tear gas right now.
Breaking news out of Senatobia, Mississippi. Protesters, along with our Fox 13 News crew, hit with tear gas.
Malcolm said we had to go to the United Nations in the 60s, bro. Malcolm said human rights was our fight, because if you got civil rights, if you got human rights, naturally you're going to have civil rights. He said they tried to keep us out of the UN by talking that civil rights crap, because everybody know if you file a lawsuit of somebody for a civil case, that's lesser of value. The United States put sanctions on countries all over the world over human rights violations. If Iran or Russia or China, if they kill a 1-year-old baby, then the people come out to protest and then they're gassed, the U.S. immediately put sanctions on that nation for human rights violations. Like Malcolm said, we got to go to the United Nations about these wicked bastards.
Gas during a protest at the Walmart, just 2 days after a baby was shot and killed by a Senatobia police officer. Thank you so much for joining us tonight and sticking with us after the game. I'm Darcy Thomas. Now, the family has identified that baby as 1-year-old Cohen Wiley. Baby Cohen died Sunday after a police officer shot into the car he was in. Senatobia police say an officer shot into the car of suspected shoplifters that were driving toward the officers. National Civil Rights Attorney Ben Crump is representing the family. In a statement, Attorney Crump said, quote, Cohen Wiley was a baby. His mother, who has not been charged with any crime, says she was trying to communicate to officers that there was a baby in the car. Now, we intend to seek justice for baby Cohen and the life that was stolen from him. Today's protest started peacefully on Senatobia's Main Street, but ended in a cloud of tear gas at the Walmart where that shooting also took place. Fox 13's Rob Sneed joins us live in Senatobia tonight. Rob, just to be clear, you were also hit with that tear gas today.
Standing right there in the crowd tonight, Darcy. It happened just after 7 o'clock. The folks that got here, it wasn't anything out of control initially, nothing crazy. And maybe 1 or 2 people threw a couple of water bottles, but it wasn't anything that was violent or out of control. Then all of a sudden, within 5 minutes of being here, an officer shot some tear gas, actually rolled it on the ground. We heard that initial explosion, and you saw in the video, we ran. And when I ran down here to the pharmacy area over here, thinking that I was kind of out of Dodge. Well, that wasn't the case. I heard 2 more go up behind me over here, and then I heard 2 more go off over here. And that's when we all started running. Things got extremely chaotic. People were coughing. I was
using chemical weapons. That's chemical weapons, boy. Did you know you can't even use, if you use that if you use this on the battlefield, it's called chemical weapons. And you can get sanctioned for that, but they don't mind using it on us. This is chemical weapons and you can't even use it in military war, or you can get sanctioned.
Coughing, it was hard for me to breathe. I even started feeling nauseous. I saw people having a hard time trying to see. I actually had to try to help guide a gentleman to his vehicle while I'm trying to get to mine. And it was certainly chaotic. It was scary for a lot of people. I saw folks out here crying as well. And of course, again, you know, we got to our vehicle. We got out of Dodge to get to safety, of course. But that second round certainly did hit us pretty hard. But you can see right now tonight, those protesters, they left. They dispersed. Many of them said they weren't going anywhere, but I don't see any out here. I see mostly police officers and deputies out here guarding this Walmart tonight. Many of them, the protesters, saying that they want justice for this 1-year-old.
That these people let such things go on. Who in their right mind would come out shooting behind 2 women and a baby? It's ridiculous.
We made sure that our local government understood our demands, and they refused our demands to our face. So we right now are ready to move and do whatever it takes as a community of black people who have been shown disrespect.
And you could hear that frustration and that disappointment out of Cohen's great grandmother, rather, and community leaders this tonight. Now, Cohen's death is hurting this community deeply, as you just saw. Many other people say that they still have questions about how and why did this happen. And while some online have blamed the child's mother, others in the community blame the police. Around 5 Tuesday evening, community leaders and leaders gathered outside the city hall, and tensions escalated outside of City Hall while city leaders met inside. Now, at tonight's mayor and board of aldermen meeting, it was decided that the officer involved in this shooting be placed on administrative leave. Again, they placed that officer on administrative leave. The announcement drew applause from some in the crowd, but many still feel they need more answers. Meanwhile, Mississippi Department of Public Safety Commissioner Sean Tyndall asked the community for patience as the investigation continues. He said he could not provide an exact timeline for when additional information or police video will be released, but he promised that the investigation will be transparent.
You know, understand that our goal is to ultimately be transparent in our investigation, so that everybody can take a look at that. And if the wrong conclusions ultimately reached, then those decisions will be looked at and reviewed and scrutinized by the public. And that's how transparency creates accountability.
Again, tonight at 10:18 here at this Walmart on 51. No protesters out here tonight. No demonstrators out here tonight. All you see are first responders and law enforcement out here tonight. Of course, all of this still under investigation. I was told by one of the protesters that they plan to be back out here again at 6 o'clock in the morning, continuing to fight for justice for that little boy who lost his life way too soon. Darcy.
Information. The young lady never stole no Pampers. It's been confirmed she paid. She didn't even know why they was approaching them. Nobody tried to hit no officers. They just shot in the car, and they had prior knowledge that the baby was in the car. So post it to your social media, tell your friends, and pull up most of all and continue to support this family. Thank you so much. Yeah. Marquell Bridges, Building Bridges Coalition. I'm out here with Snow the Bother, Cohen's grandfather. I want to show you let me holler at you, big dog. I want to show you what a real grandfather does. In the midst of his grief, he's out here passing out flyers and getting people educated on the real facts of what happened. Yeah, we just want to let you know, my brother here, his name's Snow the Bother. I'm brother Marquell. His grandson, 1-year-old grandson, was murdered at Walk. But the lies is that they were stealing. They wasn't stealing none of his son's. It's his son's son. So it's the child's mother confirmed that nothing was being stolen. They paid for everything. They just shot in the car. Yeah, so we're gonna need your support to the city council meeting, and they're gonna need you for any future protests and any organizer. Don't let them lie to you that this was unjustified. And just so you know, the officer about 2 days ago just got filed complaints on by black officers that he was using racial slurs in the precinct. So he already got more. So you already know. Yeah, so he got, yeah. And I'm lying, that's why I'm keeping it down. But I just want to show how strong this grandfather is to be out here doing this, in the midst of his grief. So we need you. We're going to be building and organized. We're going to come set up some barbecue grills, show y'all some love, and to build our community like we're supposed to, brother. Thank you. Let's keep going. Yep. This is what community looks like. So proud of this black man right here. So the Wild and Agree turn this pain into purpose, and we getting in the community and making some shake and make sure the community are aware of the real, and we're going to stand together and fight back. Yep.
All right, peace and blessings. Peace and blessings, all praises to the Most High. And the last clip was that of my good brother, Marquell Bridges, of the Building Bridges Foundation down there in Mississippi. Had the pleasure and the honor of working with him on a few occasions. But he's out there getting the true word out. If you have not heard, 1-year-old Cohen Wiley was murdered by that police, Hunter Foster. And there you see him on the screen, who the information I received from Marquell that a couple of days before he killed young Cohen, officers from his department filed complaints on him for using racial slurs. Now, they have tried to paint the narrative that they were there for a shoplifting call, but it has been confirmed and affirmed that nope, the mother did not steal any Pampers. She had paid for the Pampers. And as Brother Marquell said, she didn't even know why they were trying to stop them. Nevertheless, if you look at that first clip, you can see officers running behind the car. It is alleged that no one ever tried to run over an officer. They shot the car from the side, and you can see a bullet hole in the passenger side. And so this is another instance where they're trying to play that like they were justified in just opening fire on a black family with a small infant in the car. And even this news video that you're about to watch repeats the words claim, because that's all it is it a claim? And you're going to hear how this department has also been the subjects of numerous investigations in the past, recent past, and have come under fire by the community of Senatobia for several different instances such as this. Just watch.
New tonight, a community is calling for transparency. Many want to know what happened in the moments that led to the death of a 1-year-old. The baby's family tells us he was in the car as law enforcement opened fire in the parking lot of Senatobia's Walmart. They also tell us another woman was injured and is in critical condition. The Mississippi Bureau of Investigation is now heading up the case and says that shooting stemmed from a shoplifting call. WRG's Shay Arthur has been on that case all day. She's live tonight with what she's uncovered. And Shay, what have you learned?
Oh, Greg, it seems so much of this case could rely on what's seen on video. And as we're out here in this Walmart parking lot where that shooting happened, you can see their signs saying cameras are everywhere. And for the public, seeing things with their own eyes could be crucial, as over the years there have been many very public issues involving the department. Loved ones now must grapple with the loss of 1-year-old Cohen Wiley. His family says he was killed after a bullet pierced this car window when his mother and another relative were leaving the Senatobia Walmart.
TJ got shot.
This video shows the chaos moments after the shooting. Law enforcement.
But you notice they didn't show the video where the car was already past the officers, though.
seen running through the parking lot. The Mississippi Bureau of Investigation tells us officers claim they were called to the store on a shoplifting call when they saw two adults and the child leaving the store and get into a car. When they tried to make them stop.
And it's disgusting that Benjamin Boulay Crump and them buck dancing, shoe shining house niggas done ran to this case to get a free check. Nigga, these people do not need that nigga to get that check. They gonna automatically get that check. And all that, they going after the cop, man. Benjamin Crump done lost every fucking case he was on. No officers ever got locked up. The only thing this nigga ever do is they get the settlement because the cases be obvious. They can easily get the settlement. I don't appreciate that bitch ass nigga come and get a free check for doing fucking nothing. That shit is outrageous, bro. Real fucking talk, man. He ain't got to do shit. Blind man can see these people gonna get paid off of this. And here come the shoe shiners acting like they give a damn.
They claim the driver drove towards them, nearly striking an officer. At least one officer shot at the car. But as little Cohen's family mourns his death, they also have questions when it comes to the police department.
Senatobia Police Department get away with too much stuff. I hear about it all the time. It's in the news all the time. Y'all probably down here all the time recording this stuff. But it's just too much.
We have reported extensively over the years about controversies involving the police department. Last year, the department came under fire after a woman had a taser pulled on her and was tackled to the ground after police claimed she illegally parked in a handicap spot, also at Walmart. The woman claimed she had just dropped off her grandmother inside the store. In 2023, the case of a 10-year-old little boy made national news after he was detained for urinating in public. After the incident, the police chief at the time said one of the officers involved was no longer employed and the other officers would be disciplined.
This was total irresponsibility.
In 2022, the police department and the housing authority went head to head after what many called a rough arrest of a 31-year-old man was caught on camera. Since these incidents, the department has new leadership. Today, I spoke with the mayor, who would not say how many officers were involved in this latest incident or if anyone was on administrative leave during the investigation. But a longtime community organizer says this weekend's shooting brings up the need for change.
The community is suffering, and we tired of the proliferation of this type of violence being administered from the police force, and we tired of it, and we ready to respond to it and get something done.
Yeah, and Stephanie Gray, that community organizer who I spoke with right there, says a group is planning to meet tomorrow to question city officials. For your news leader, we're live in Senatobia tonight. Shay Arthur, WREG News Channel.
Okay, and so you know they have cameras out there. Walmart is full of cameras, like we learned from the Javion McGee case. They had his whole Walmart encounter from several different angles displayed. And so we can expect that the same level of transparency, the same level of clarity should be given in this case. What really happened? Where are the body cam footages? Where are the security cam footages? Is this officer really under fire for using racial slurs? All of that must be taken into account. But as you see, this police department has a history of treating brown people less than human. Mississippi has a history of treating brown people less than human. The Americas have a history of treating brown people less than human. So I find it despicable that they are trying to run with the narratives. I've seen a couple of articles about the situation, and most of the pink people in the comments are saying, well, they were trying to steal and they tried to hit an officer with the car. Just because police say that it happened like that, that doesn't mean it happened like that. How many times must they be proven wrong when true evidence comes out? And so I want to applaud my brother down there, Markel Bridges, and that grandfather for going out, fighting for justice for his son. The entire family is just heartbreaking to see that this continues to happen, but they always try to blame the victims as the criminals. As Malcolm X said, if you're not careful, the media will have you thinking that the victims are the criminals and the criminals are the victims. Like in this manner, they're trying to say, well, somebody was trying to run over police, making him the victim. But in reality, he is, according to the reports, a racist pig. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this video in the comments. What is the solution to these type of events? As I always say, when police officers, every time police officers do something like that, if them or their family comes up missing, then the next police officer will think twice before doing as such. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Y'all see the number 919-586.
Why did Carmelo Anthony sentenced to 35 years in prison after being found guilty of murder? TMZ posts this picture of him going to prison, and it doesn't take long to see America's racism show up. The very first comment I read is, he won't be going to other people's tent no more. I respond by saying, well, Austin won't be putting his hands on other people's children anymore. Now, me personally, I don't want to go low. I love compassion and empathy. But if you want to go low, I will meet you in the trenches. Comments, general population's going to love you, laughing. I wonder if he's pregnant yet. I read other comments talking about he's not going to get chitlins anymore. He's not going to get fried chicken and watermelon. Your typical, stereotypical racism in America. I believe what happened was a tragedy. 2 young men lost their life that day. But I still stand on the fact that Carmelo Anthony did not stand a chance because of his race. And yes, racism played a huge part in it. The United States Constitution gives us a right to a speedy trial to be judged by a jury of our peers. Well, Carmelo Anthony had an all-white jury, and they dismissed every black juror. Why does that matter? Because you have to understand the historical context of our criminal justice system. The 13th Amendment was the abolishment of slavery, except when punishment for a crime, meaning that crime became the legalized loophole for slavery. Slavery can be legal as long as we label people criminal. So for young black defendants in the United States of America, they are not afforded the presumption of innocence. Their fear is never reasonable. Carmelo Anthony's experience is not worthy of validation. His story not to be believed. In fact, every action that Carmelo Anthony took was viewed through the lens of suspicion because his very existence is suspicious to racist white America. Why did Carmelo Anthony carry a knife? Why didn't he just get up and walk away? Why was he in other people's tent? Didn't ask the questions like, why did Austin Metcalf greet him with hostility? Why didn't Austin Metcalf extend grace and kindness to him? Why didn't he offer him some water or a Gatorade and an opportunity for refuge to get out of the rain? Why did Austin Metcalf find it necessary to feel like he was the authority, that he was the gatekeeper of a tent? Why didn't he go to the authorities, to a coach? And most importantly, why didn't Austin Metcalf keep his hands to himself? Why did he put his hands on other people's children? Why did he believe that he could act with impunity? Why did he think that he was entitled to tell other people what to do? Again, Carmelo Anthony never stood a chance. Not then and not today. Every single one of those eyewitnesses were very good friends of Austin Metcalf. Every single one of them testified that Austin Metcalf is our leader. He is always protecting us, was the exact words that they testified. Protecting you from what? Why does Austin Metcalf need to protect you? He's your peer. He is not your parent. He is not an authority figure in your life unless you've made him one. Unless you've made him feel empowered and entitled to do exactly what he did to Carmelo Anthony that day. Completely understand why Carmelo Anthony would have been in such fear. Knowing the historical context of what it's like to be black in America, understanding our criminal justice system, and also seeing the crowd that he was dealing with on that day. Why did the defense team not put him on the stand? You don't put defendants on the stand when they can self-incriminate. We know that he did it. We know that he did it. He admitted to doing it. But let us humanize him and see the why, the motive as to why he did it. Understand that it was a split-second decision, that white America always gets deference in those situations. The Daniel Pennies, the police brutality cases in which cops are always given deference and split.
It's individuals like this put all these bootlickers to shame because it go to show you that they really some house niggas who cannot defend their people or defend themselves. And this, I bet you, Stephen A. Smith, none of them bootlickers, they would not debate this white man about this. They wouldn't do it because it would show how humiliated they really are, that they can't even tell the truth. But this white man could tell the motherfucking truth with no fear. But them house niggas got to pretend like Carmelo was the problem. This man with clarity telling you, no, his people was the motherfucking problem.
Split-second decisions in which they fear for their life. That same deference wasn't given to Carmelo Anthony. Not like he had a lengthy criminal record that the prosecution could have exposed or used against him. He was a straight A student. He was a son. He was a teammate. He was a friend. Biggest reason why I say you should not have convicted of murder is because you need malicious intent to prove murder. The element of malice, a forethought malice, meaning that he went there with the intent to kill somebody or that he had reckless disregard for human life. There was one stab. It was probably a get up off of me stab. He didn't stab him multiple times like a crime of passion. He didn't stab any of the other kids underneath that tent. The very most, they could have said manslaughter, but I still believed he was innocent because he was not the aggressor. He did not strike Austin first. Just like we saw in South Carolina when the store owner, Rick Chow, chased Cyrus down, the 14-year-old boy, 130 yards and shot him in the back and then was found not guilty. Kyle Rittenhouse went across state lines with an assault rifle to a place that we know had heightened emotions and tension. Carmelo Anthony been any one of them, he would have been an American hero invited to the White House.
I made a video a few days ago about the Carmelo Anthony trial. Well, basically the altercation between him and Austin Metcalf. And the thing is this. All right. For all you people that are getting on my video I made a few days ago, and you're basically saying Carmelo's guilty. And let's just say, for the most part, most of you motherfuckers are just some sick fucks. And you guys are either racist or just dumb as fuck. But I'm not going to say 100%. I'm going to say this. If you think this is what happened, that Austin went up to Carmelo by himself and just was like, hey, man, you got to get up out of here. And just did that. And then Carmelo stabbed him. Yeah, it makes sense why you would think Carmelo should go down. If that's the only context you believe that happened, then yeah, it makes sense to you that, and I would agree with you, damn, that's all that happened. He shouldn't have stabbed him. But that ain't what happened. And the fact that you're omitting everything else makes you a sick piece of shit. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you like this. All right, say this happened. Say me and any three motherfuckers that you know, yourself included, went to a bank. We all know each other. We're going to a bank. And you have no clue what I'm doing. You just assume that what I'm about to do is just withdraw some money. And I decide, without letting you know, that I'm about to go up in that bank. And then right when we all walk in, I say, I pull out a gun and I say, all right, everyone put your fucking hands up. I'm robbing this bitch. What are you doing? Think about that for a second. What are you going to do? Right? Think about that. Are you going to do this? One or two things. Are you going to stand there and be like, yeah, he's robbing this bitch. Or you're going to be like, what the hell, dude? Like, calm down. What are you doing? Think about how you would respond to that. All right. Now, let's say you go with the first route where you sit there and you go try to puff up your chest and like you tough as fuck, right? The cops come barreling in there. Are they going to think you are part of the robbery? Or are they going to think that you had nothing to do with it? Now, keep that in your mind for a second because I'm about to break it down to you. All right. Because then I made it in that first video I made, I said that what, and I'm saying this right now, the more I think about it, they should arrest Hunter Metcalf. All right. Because we know for a fact Hunter had something to do with what happened between Austin and Carmelo. How do we know? When the shit first went down, what did Hunter say? We. He didn't say Austin. He didn't say I. He said we, meaning him and Austin and a couple other friends were telling Carmelo what to do. They were telling Carmelo what to do. You can't omit that out of what you think how Carmelo's guilty. You can't omit that. You can't say that happened and then leave that out because Austin's the one that put his hands on Carmelo. You can't omit the fact that the rest of them were involved. Why can't you? Because in the state of fucking Texas, the multiple assailant, there is a fucking law. Multiple assailants are the equivalent of a weapon. So the fact, and don't lose me here, the fact that they all approached Carmelo and they all were telling him what to do. All right, now think about that for a second. You have no right to say that. For one, Carmelo ain't got to listen to what thing they fucking say. He can sit where the fuck he wants. He ain't got to listen to what them motherfuckers say. If they tell him to move, he can decide to move, or he can just sit the fuck still. Your problem, that's how I know you got some sick fucks. Your first thought is to say this, that Carmelo was the provoker because all he had to do was move. Well, you know what the initial thought should have been? All they had to do is not fucking put their hands on him and tell him what to do. That's all they had to do. All they had to do was go run and tell the coach. But they didn't. They decided that they were the authority and they owned his black body. That's what they acted like. They owned his body and they get to tell it where to be. No, they don't. All right. So who are you to say that Carmelo, sitting down, who never got up, has to look up at Austin because you think it was only Austin involved? But like I said, Hunter already admitted that he was involved too. You think Austin or Carmelo's going to look up at Austin and then see his twin brother and think to himself, all right, if this turns into a fight, I'm sure the guy that looks exactly like him is not going to help him. And I'm sure the other two dudes are not going to help him. So he had every reasonable feeling to believe, all right, they're against me. They are against me. So at the point he had that feeling, and then it escalated from them telling him what to do to one of the attackers putting their hands on him. That's multiple assailants, you stupid fucks.
But the
moment that happened, you can't just omit that because you can look up the law. One of them has to attack them. Not all of them, just one. Once one of them does, and they were all involved, they're accomplices. The same way you're in that bank, if you're standing with your chest puffed out and you ain't trying to stop me, right? And even if you ain't trying to stop me, you ain't letting it be known, look, I ain't got nothing to do with this shit. They didn't do that. They didn't say, yo, Hunter, what are you doing? Or Austin, what are you doing, dude? Just calm down. They didn't do that. They stayed there in an aggressive nature, showing Carmelo, we are in solidarity with this boy. We are against you. The fact that they did that makes them all accomplices. That's why it's a big deal. It doesn't matter if they all put their hands on him. One of them did. One of them did, and they were standing there trying to intimidate Carmelo. That makes them multiple assailants. So the fact that that was happening, you can't omit that. And the fact that you are makes you either racist or you're a dumb piece of shit.
Family and fellow soldiers, I'm the professor, and this is the moment of truth. The fallout from the illegal railroading of Carmelo Anthony for self-defense continues to unfold. Now, for this morning's briefing, if you look at the title, I want you to know right off the bat, we're not going to be doing victim blaming here. This is one of the things that we don't do over in the Black grassroots. We'll be discussing this subject from the standpoint of things that could have or should have been done differently. But let's make no mistake on one thing in particular. The railroading of Carmelo Anthony had absolutely nothing to do with the law, because there is no law that says that if some 200-pound thug decides that he's going to try to jump your child along with his brother, that your child has some obligation to fight them on their terms. There's also no law that says, especially in the state of Texas, that you are obligated to, quote unquote, walk away. In fact, the law in Texas says the opposite. It says you have every legal right to stand your ground. And on top of that, there is no law that says you are not allowed to defend yourself with a weapon. Carmelo Anthony was well within his rights morally and legally to do everything he did. He was under no obligation to flee. He had every right to stand his ground. He had been threatened multiple times by the thug Austin Metcalf, and he warned Metcalf what would happen if he attempted to follow through on any of his threats. And then what happened was he defended himself. Now, of course, there's going to be the scumbags and idiots who try to say, well, the force that you use has to be proportional. The dishonest people who try to use that particular talking point, they only do it because they know that if a white person claims that they were afraid for their life after they murder a black person in cold blood with a gun, nobody's going to be saying, well, the force has to be proportional. If someone attacks you barehanded, you can't use a gun. The black person can be barehanded like Ahmaud Arbery was, and they'll murder them, and then the white DA will say that it was proportional. Remember, that crooked DA out there, Jackie Lacey, she didn't charge the murderers of Ahmaud Arbery originally, remember? She had all the same evidence everybody else did, but she looked and said, oh, there's not going to be charges. It was only when it blew up in the media that she found herself forced to have to say, well, maybe we should revisit it, and even then it had to be handled by somebody else. That was as clear-cut a case of prosecutorial misconduct as there's ever been. And yet the white authorities, predictably, went ahead and gave her a pass the same way that they do for all of these other criminals. They give them probation no matter what the world they've done. And people want to talk about proportional. There is no legal requirement that if you get jumped by two thugs, then you have to fight them on the exact same terms that they attack you. When somebody calls themselves attacking you, they can't dictate consequences, which is why there's laws that make it illegal to threaten someone, which Austin Metcalf did. And there's also laws that make it illegal to attack someone, which Austin Metcalf did. The prosecution of Carmelo Anthony was only done as a racist message to black people that if they dared to defend themselves, especially against an assailant from the dominant society, well, then that racist DA is going to be on the attacker's side. That's the only purpose that this trial served. It was meant to be a public message to black people, done solely as a form of racial intimidation if a black person dares to defend themselves. The entire process was rigged from the jump, and that was the point. And when the next black citizen is killed by the next Austin Metcalf wannabe, that same racist DA in Collins County is going to be telling everybody, well, it was totally legal. And even if they're not able to get away with that, then they'll make certain that the killer or killers is given some sweetheart plea deal where they get probation, no time served. And we all know it because we've seen this happen countless times. Where are the people at who are whining right now when you had Cyrus Belton be murdered in cold blood by a scumbag who chased that boy for 130 feet and gunned him down, shooting him in the back? That animal was allowed to get away with it, and I don't see any of the people who are claiming to be talking about proportionality and force talking about that one. Of course not. And their silence is not accidental. Whenever a black person is killed, it's always justified, and that's the reason why we never let these idiots get away with trying to claim credibility for their lies. They always get called out. This morning, we talk about how the family is expressing regrets about how this was handled legally, specifically that they got a white lawyer. A lot of people were asking about that, and it's a good thing that the family spoke up on it. Carmelo's father, Andrew, said that he had spoken with a number of people. He consulted with them about what to do, including some black attorneys, and apparently they all encouraged him to hire a white lawyer to represent his son. Quote, they're like, oh, you need a white attorney to go out there, to fight out there. Remember they was telling us that? They kept telling us that. According to the article in question, the Anthony family now regrets that decision. When asked what they could have done differently, Andrew pointed back to the legal advice they received. Quote, I was told, don't talk to this person. Don't talk to this person. I feel like it was just a setup. Like I said, they told us, go get white attorneys. One thing's for sure. These so-called defense attorneys that they hired, these white attorneys, they definitely were not actually trying to give a robust defense for this boy. And the thing about it is, because of the fact that these guys did work in the DA's office, they work with the government, they already know that being white, the chances of somebody actually being successful with an inadequate counsel defense against them is probably slim to none. They're going to have some white review board who looks at it, if it even gets that far, some white judges who review it, and they're going to rubber stamp it and say, oh, no, he received an adequate defense after all. He did this, he did that. That's what they'll be claiming. Like I said, when it came to the voir dire process, there should have been hell to pay. They should have raised hell about it. Instead, they just gave a, well, are you sure that's right? Doing just enough where they can falsely claim, oh, well, we actually tried to defend them. See, when they were striking all the black jurors from the trial, we gave a little bit of token resistance. See, just enough to cover themselves on that one. But according to the family, if I'm reading this correctly, apparently the black lawyers in Texas, or at least the black lawyers they spoke to, didn't want to take on the case. That's what they seem to be saying. I'm not entirely sure what they mean by they consulted black attorneys. Does that mean that they talked to some black friends who were attorneys? Or does it mean that they tried to hire a black attorney and these black attorney or attorneys, plural, turned them down because blah, blah, blah? Whatever the case may be, the family clearly feels that they had been erroneously steered or funneled into a particular direction that somebody else wanted them to go, and this was the result. I can certainly understand that. A lot of people have been wondering, why is it that the family felt that they didn't just have to get white lawyers, they had to get white lawyers who had worked with the very DA who was prosecuting their son? Why that in particular? Why in the world would they trust this guy of all people? Why would they even go to an individual like this? Well, I can tell you right now, I've dealt with lawyers, both criminal and civil, and I can guess some of the rotten advice that they were getting from this white lawyer. I can guess how these shysters sold themselves to the family. You got a guy who's a former prosecutor. Oh, I'm sure he said, I know this guy. I worked with him for a number of years. I know all of his tricks. I know his. That's most likely the kind of spiel that he was spouting. That's probably the sales pitch that he used. Oh, you got a criminal defense that you're trying to mount. Well, I work with this guy. I know what he's going to do. I work with him for a long time. That's probably what he did to sell himself to the family, selling the fact that he knew the prosecutor very well. And that's part of the reason why when it comes to these things, you really want to have people who are outside of it, who are looking in, who can tell you what they see. If you're too close to it, well, you probably don't have the objectivity that you need, especially if the shyster in question knows how to sell the soap. You know, if they got some sort of gregarious personality and they have an easy way with people, oh, they can convince you that they're on your side, all the while they are coldly planning how to sell you up the river. And that's exactly what happened in this case. I think that's what occurred. This family has never really been in a situation like this. And if it's what they said, that basically they had gone to black lawyers, or at least a few of them anyway, and been told, we can't take this case, or you need a white lawyer. You need to definitely get yourself a white lawyer. Well, hell, you're already preparing them mentally to basically go ahead and put all their trust in somebody simply because. Lawyers in particular love to try to find new and inventive ways to sell themselves to clients. After all, the competition for clients is pretty fierce. But for people who are not familiar with the kind of ways that lawyers try to pawn themselves off as more than they are, they can make their line of bull sound pretty good for the unfamiliar. I'm not sure exactly who it was who told them that it was a good idea to trust one of the prosecutor's former co-workers. But either way, they didn't ask, or some genius told them, yeah, go get this guy. He's white. That's all you need. When O.J. Simpson was on trial, he had a black lawyer leading his defense, Johnny Cochran. Yes, he had white lawyers too, F. Lee Bailey and what's his name, Shapiro and Kardashian so-and-so. But the truth of the matter was Johnny Cochran was the one quarterbacking that particular team. A lot of people, especially in cases like this, that have to do with a killing where you got a prosecutor who's basically trying to railroad somebody on the basis of, identity politics. They'll tell you need to get so-and-so attorney because, oh, you were accused of harming a white woman. Well, you need to get a white female attorney to represent you. Oh, you were accused of harming a white male. Well, it'll probably go better with the jury if you have a white male representing you. Someone who looks like the individual that you've been charged with harming. I understand that. But the reality happens to be this. A white lawyer is not going to be making a racist white jury forget that you're black. You've been watching too much To Kill a Mockingbird if you actually believe that one. A white jury is still going to be looking and seeing that you're black regardless. What's going to help you is a robust and competent legal defense. That's what's actually going to help you. A white lawyer is not going to make up for the fact that you don't have a jury of your peers. And a white lawyer is not going to be any more effective than a black lawyer when you got a crooked judge who's presiding over the case. The corrupt legal system that allowed for this young man to be railroaded, that's what needs to actually be addressed. And it's supposed to be addressed at the policy level. But this is what you get when your representatives are the likes of Al Green and Jasmine Crockett. It's not just the black lawyers who failed to show up for this boy, it's also the black politicians too. Because you can't get these guys to lift a finger to protect black people or even themselves. That's the problem with these politicians out there. This is what these black politicians were supposed to have been doing all of these decades. Why is it that these so-called grand juries are still secretive? They should have been raising pure hell about that, because you know that that's how they railroad black people, and they make sure that the people they want to prosecute get prosecuted no matter what, no matter how flimsy the evidence is. And the people that they don't want to prosecute, you know, like white cops who kill black people, well, this is where they bury the prosecution, and they can do it behind a veil of secrecy. You do not see any of these black politicians. You've never seen them bring everything to a halt until there's some sort of legal framework in place that finally brings sunlight to these dark corners of American injustice. That's what's supposed to be going on. And they also should have been spending the last 40 years making sure that they prop up, strengthen, and reinforce the Batson ruling, so that finally you can have it where black people are not able to be systematically struck and excluded from juries. This is what should have been going on before this trial happened. See, that's why the bad guys are so emboldened, because they know that none of these black lawmakers are ever going to seriously fight for laws to punish them whenever they illegally exclude black people from the judicial process. In fact, these black politicians won't even propose any legislation. And I've told you why that is. When you have the likes of Kamala Harris, who was a DA and later California Attorney General, you see that it's not just racists in Texas who are scared of prosecutors finally being held to account for all the dirt they do in the courtroom. A lot of Democrats are also terrified at this exact same prospect as well. And these black politicians in Texas, they've just been twiddling their thumbs and letting this all go on. And that's because that's what their would-be white paymasters in the DNC want. And this is the reason why, if you're going to call yourself voting, you definitely do not vote from a slate of candidates put in front of you by one half of white supremacy. These black politicians, they've been the ones in the best position to be able to coordinate and rally the people behind ballot initiatives to change these laws. They don't have to go through the legislatures. We've seen this in a number of red states. You saw it in Michigan when the so-called emergency manager law was first proposed. That was actually a statewide referendum, which the voters of Michigan, which at that time was a red state, at least politically, the voters of Michigan shot that down. And you saw the same thing in Florida when it was the voters who outlawed prohibiting felons from being able to vote, because everybody recognized that it was just nothing more than striking black people from the voter rolls by the side door. So these measures have worked in red states before, and it would also work in Texas. But those black politicians know, well, there'd be a whole lot of our white paymasters who wouldn't like it. So, you know, black folks, y'all just need to keep your heads down while we try to gain higher office for ourselves. You know, it's the same way that these black politicians don't want to go on a tear to rally people against these corrupt DAs and judges either. They never make it a point to say, hey, this DA in Collins County, we need to make sure that he's removed from the bench, or at the very least, if this bastard tries to run for office outside of the cozy confines of Collins County, his career is over. They don't do that. They don't do that with the judges either. They don't do anything that would actually protect black people. Yes, it's true that the crooked lawyer that the family got clearly was not on their side. Clearly, this was a scumbag working for the prosecutor. But the reality happens to be the reason that they had some black folks who were out there telling them, you need to get a white lawyer, is because of the fact that the system is completely and thoroughly rigged against black defendants. And it allows these racist white prosecutors to just have it all their own way. That's the real problem. We don't need a situation where black folks are intimidated from having the lawyer that they choose to have. And they feel like, well, I got to go with somebody, especially from outside the community. That should never be the case. The main reason why people were sitting there telling them, you need to get yourself a white lawyer, is because they knew that these prosecutors have the ability to install an all-white jury. because you can count on one hand the number of times you had a black person killed by some white supremacist, and all of a sudden here's a black lawyer to defend them. No, they're not scared about that at all. These white supremacists, they harm a black person, they're not worried about what kind of lawyer they get. They go ahead and get the whitest lawyer that they can, and he'll be in court dropping all the racial code words. Why do they feel that way? Because they know that it's more about the jury. That jury's going to look like the killer and not like the victim. That's what these white supremacists understand. And they also know that that white jury has been conditioned to get on code and exercise strict jury nullification in favor of some white supremacist committing violence against a black person. They know that. And that's the reason why you don't see them sitting here going, oh, you got to get yourself a black lawyer. They're like, nah, let me go ahead and get Cletus over here. And this is the reason why I didn't come down too hard on the family about who they chose. I know that these people had never been in this kind of situation before, and I also knew that this being their first time having this happen to them, of course they were going to be thinking, well, maybe it will be better if you have a lawyer who looks like the person that Carmelo was falsely accused of murdering. I can understand the mental arithmetic that may have gone into that decision. But what I'm pointing out is the problem here is a hell of a lot bigger than, can we have a lawyer who looks good to the jury? The real problem is you have racist prosecutors who the system has no safeguards in place to stop them from installing a jury who's just as racist as they are. That's the problem. A black defendant is almost never tried by a jury of their peers. They're always tried by a jury who some white prosecutor puts there in order to rubber stamp what they say. That's the problem. That they control the process from beginning to end, and that it's completely and thoroughly opaque so that they get away with all kinds of dirt. That entire scaffolding needs to be dismantled, brick by brick, but you're not going to get it from the likes of a Jasmine Crockett or an Al Green. You got to be realistic about that. As I keep telling you, these bootlicks out here are on a suicide mission, and they're trying to take the rest of us with them. And that's the reason for this morning's briefing, is to remind you, even if some prosecutor calls themselves trying to railroad an innocent black person, it's going to be pretty difficult for them to call themselves railroading somebody when you have already torn up all the tracks. Good day.
Judge Joe Brown said, I hope they wreck him. Okay, so this is a follow-up. Judge Joe Brown said some really stupid things about Carmelo Anthony. How about we show instead of tell?
The stupid cowards that are out there trying to justify what he did don't seem to get it. They start talking about he might have been hurt. Yeah, that's the point of a fist fight. You might get hurt, might get knocked out, might get a tooth broken, a nose broken, a jaw broken, cheekbone broken, all kinds of other stuff that can happen. That's why it takes men to deal with man on man, 1-to-1 fair fight, because you have the balls. I hope they really wreck him. Because I am embarrassed that so many of these fools are trying to associate cowardice, dishonor. I have a long list I don't even want to go through because I'll start cussing thinking about it. They want to associate that with what I am. I'm a black man.
I took exception to this shit. I saw it as foul. And I know people say, well, we got to respect Judge Joe Brown, his legal acumen, his high IQ when it comes to analyzing legal situations. This was not him analyzing a legal situation or interpreting the law for laymen. This was him showing his complete ass. This was him giving his opinion. As last time I checked, they should wreck him. It's not a legal doctrine. It doesn't mean cancel Judge Brown. I don't have the ability to cancel Judge Joe Brown. I do have the ability to use this mic and tell a dude, you need to cut the bullshit out. Carmelo Anthony is a 17-year-old young man. And I guess you got your wish because they gave him 35 years, Judge. It seemed to me like the part of what Judge was so upset about was personal for him. He damn near had a fallout fit, a conniption fit, as he was trying to articulate himself. He was upset because he's worried about how conservatives see his ass. This wasn't about you, and it's not about me. It's about the life of that 17-year-old. Now, I don't know how old your kids are, but I have a 16 going on 17-year-old in my house. And for him to get 35 years over a fight he did not initiate, that he did not start, over some white kids, some bigger kids with him because they don't like where he's standing, that's a problem. I also had a problem with Judge O'Brien even bringing this up. Why do this? Why cheer on the legal system to chew up another young man? Why? Our legal system don't do enough eating the black people. I kind of moved on from it. I didn't expect a response. But Judge O'Brien did respond. Here he goes. Not on video. He responded via Twitter or X. What in the horn-swaddling, swashbuckling, coon shit is that? Judge O'Brien says, I detest and despise cowards. Honor is paramount. It was to myself and my friends when we were in high school. It still is to those of us still breathing. If I lost a fist fight, I certainly wouldn't sue. I've been in a few. There's nothing more sacred to a man than his honor. To not understand that is tragic. A tragic illustration of why we've fallen so far as a republic and as an ethnic groups that fail to comprehend this ancient truth. I don't even know what this is about. Your honor? Fighting is not about honor. Out here in these streets can get you killed, no matter who you are. There's no honor in fights. That shit is so played out. If you threaten somebody in the state of Texas, they can stand their ground. They don't have to knuckle up with you. They don't have to wait to see if you're going to hit them wrong and they fall wrong and now my life is threatened and, all this measuring or whatever. Carmelo Anthony, to me, in my opinion, still stands. He was defending himself. And if you call him a coward, you got to call Austin Metcalf, a bully. Because you could smell when somebody didn't want to fight. I know when I was coming up, if we were going to knuckle up, you could always tell who was the aggressor. You could always tell who was the one that wanted to fight. And I'm pretty sure they could tell that Carmelo was not trying to fight. So that would make Austin a bully. Because that's what you are when somebody don't want to fight you and you want to fight them. They don't want to fight you, you let it go. If you would have let it go, he'd be here. But that's beside the point. Let's continue here. Because I was not even going to respond to Judge O'Brien's response. I was going to let it go out of respect for him. Being an older brother, man, being an OG, a double OG. I was going to let it go because I don't want to say anything that could be misconstrued as a total lack of regard for the brother. We differ in opinion. We don't have to agree. But then I saw this, okay? And this, I couldn't let it slide when I saw this. Judge O'Brien is a friend of, he rooted on Daniel Penny. He rooted on Daniel Penny. He says, yeah, Mr. Penny was righteous. Not that he did what he had to do. Not that he, things did not go well, but I'm glad he did what he did. He says he was righteous. And he upheld his status as a USMC vet. U.S. Marine Corps vet. Race had nothing to do with it. Oh, okay. Okay. How do we know that, Judge? The hoods are hells because tolerance and excuses for unacceptable behavior are so rife. This represents redemption for those who stand by and do nothing but video with their phones. So after I saw this, I said, okay, gotta get him. All bets are off at this point because he don't respect me. He don't respect black people. He respect that bullshit logic he has in his head, this patriotism, nationalism bullshit about this is American and we got to do it this way and this is whatever, dog. America is not a stand-up country. We turned the Jews back when they came over. We ain't paid reparations to black folks, and we marched the Indians on a walk of death. We took credit for winning World War II when it was the Russians who lost 1 million. We're still lying about that. I mean, what are you talking about? What are we living up to here? We could solve American hunger with the amount of money we give Israel every year. We could cure hunger in the United States, and we won't do it because, God forbid, some black people might get some money. And I got this goofball talking like we the problem. Ain't nothing wrong with black people. A little bit of money couldn't fix. Shout out to Reset Race. We may need a little bit of therapy, but we are the least of the problem in this country. Thank you for saying otherwise. That's what's wrong with the hood. What's wrong with the hood? It's been undervalued. It's been discriminated against intentionally and marginalized. You on that bullshit. Matter of fact, you on that bullshit, and anybody that rocked with you was on that bullshit. My name ain't Mark Lamont here. I will hit you with the kitchen sink, Pops. I'll let your ass have it. It's unscrupulous and it's detestable that a grown-ass black man would utter out of his mouth the type of nonsense you speaking is that black people put ourselves in this deplorable condition. Anywhere in the world you go to where people are unresourced, under-resourced, undervalued, you will find crime and you will find a whole lot of resentment, bitterness, and dysfunction. We've done exceptionally well. In fact, we're the most prosperous of all black people on the planet. The Brits, the Africans, anywhere you go. Go to South America and find black people. Go to Africa, West Africa, North Africa, South Africa. Go anywhere in the UK. I've done the math. I've done the research. We're more wealthy than all of them. They all want to be us. And I got your ass sitting here talking about the bottom 20% of us who are catching the most hell. We have black folks who are doing very well for themselves, who would not even be bothered to hang out with the poor black folks in this country. When we start adjusting for class and money, who has the resources and who don't, our crime start looking like white people crime. It's just when you have a permanent underclass that's eating and chewing up lower class, working class folks every day. And for the record, I don't know the last time you've been to a poor-ass white people neighborhood, you better lock your doors 3 times there, too. I don't know where y'all goofballs been at that you ain't never been nowhere where poor-ass white people be at. I'm so tired of this bullshit where people deny reality. You know what? You picked a damn good time to talk about the ills of black community when the young black kid gets sentenced to 35 years. If it would have been a white kid that killed a white kid, we wouldn't even know anything about that goddamn story. If it would have been a black kid that killed a black kid, we wouldn't know anything about that goddamn story. And we all know what would have happened if it would have been a white kid who killed a black kid and let that black kid, whether that black kid was bigger than him or not, them same people that you talking about as your buddies and you don't want to look bad in front of, that you feel upset that people would let you be a punchline or a talking point, as if when they talk about black people, they talking about your rich ass, your wealthy ass, or your well-to-do, your iconic, name-known, recognized, famous ass. They ain't talking about you. They talking about broke-ass Negroes whose names they don't know. You are special. You one of the good ones. Hope that makes you feel good. We all know that them conservative friends whose ass you kissing with these types of posts, whether intentional or unintentional, we all know what they would have done and would have said if arson would have been, if it would have been reversed. And Carmelo was the bigger one. And Austin defended himself by using a blade. They would have said he did what he had to do, and he is a hero. They would have never conceded he was wrong. They would have never conceded, which you are easily happy. You so fast to concede self-defense for this young man, you damn near cut your lip on your microphone. You couldn't wait to get it out your mouth. You have a deep-seated hate for working-class black folks. And I wonder if that has ever permeated your rulings in your courtrooms, because it's pretty clear. Ain't nothing worse than a black man who don't love black people. I'm down for accountability. How about them first? How about them first? Last thing they would take is accountability. And you clap for Daniel Penny? You put an emaciated, sick person in a headlock and took his life for words. If you don't consider that cowardice, what is? So we got Carmelo Anthony, who used a knife as a weapon. And we have Daniel Penny, who used his 10 years of U.S. Marine Corps training as a weapon. But one you applied, the other one you call cowardice and wish that they wreck him. And I'll be the judge of that. I take no joy in telling you that shit or dropping that on you like it's hot. But the truth is, walking on tiptoes around you. I told you, my name ain't Mark Lamont Hill. Ain't no stuttering, just furniture moving around, especially about my people. I don't play about my people. You want to go over there and dance for them? You want to do some lap dances or something for the conservative whites who wouldn't piss on me, wouldn't piss on our broke, unknown asses if we was on fire to put us out? And got you over here doing this. I expect more from you. Fake-ass conservative. What the y'all conserving? You know, just because I don't like the Democrats don't mean I roll with this. I'm black first. Somebody got to be. And it's not biased to support that brother.
Revolution is a way of life.
I see him as a human being. Notwithstanding him hiring that Dominique. I don't know what that was about. I don't know. I disagree with that so badly. And I don't know what's up. We asked him not to. We wanted them to cut ties with that last year. They could have used the benefit of your counsel when they was going through the shit, you know? And don't tell me you couldn't find them, you couldn't reach them, because you Judge O'Brien. It is what it is. I stand on my business. We are my business. How you see a kid who never been in trouble before as a cold-blooded killer is crazy to me. Just remember, they took Dylan Roof out for a whopper after he killed 7 of us. In cold blood in church. You worry about what them people think about. Carmelo? Judge O'Brien is more upset with Carmelo Anthony than all of Fox News was upset with Dylan Roof after he killed 7 black people praying. After he sat with them while they prayed. You don't see nothing wrong with that. You don't see yourself on the wrong side of this shit. You sure? Are you sure? I did not see Sean Hannity come out and say, I hope they wreck him. You guys are a joke. Retire. Stop talking. Stop doing content, man. Stop talking. All y'all stop talking. Stop talking when real niggas speaking. What type of shit is this? Kissing white people ass. They don't love you, Judge. I don't remember seeing conservatives that upset about the Tops supermarket shooting. Do you remember them being upset about the Tops supermarket shooting? You more upset about Austin Metcalf than no white people was upset about all the people, the grandmas shopping in the Tops supermarket in Buffalo. You don't think that that's out of whack? Huh? You don't find that a little wacky? that you got more venom to spit about that 17-year-old kid than you had for the killer who killed them black people shopping, buying food for their families? You don't see a disconnection, an incongruency? Is that something lacking? Is that a misunderstanding? Where is your pride? I agree about the Democrats, and I'm quick to criticize the Democrats because that's who we vote for. That's who black people put their trust in. So that's my main target. But I do not kiss white evangelical ass on anything. Nor do I believe this fallacy of America is the epitome of anything. And we talking about honor. We are a dishonorable country. How we gonna be an honorable country? They never paid their slaves. How we gonna say that? How you gonna use the word honor and in this country, in the folklore? What is this? A John Rockwell painting? What are you talking about, man? The amount of money we put into stopping human trafficking in this country is a disgrace. A disgrace. I don't care about people in this country. What honor are you talking about? Men. They don't even consider you a man. These people don't consider you a man. They did, they compensate you. They have no respect for us. I'm going to say this and I'm going to let it go. I got love for George Joe Brown, but I found his rhetoric disgusting, pointless. And ass kissery is not allowed. So he says he detests, what's he say? He detests, it's disgusting, and he detests some shit. What did he say? He detests cowardice. I detest ignorance. I detest ass kissery. I detest anti-blackness. All right, so I got a newsletter that I'm putting out every week. I've been doing this for a minute. Get the Tim Black Show official newsletter. All you got to do to get it is go to timblacktv.com. You'll see my contact form. In the subject, put newsletter. Get my weekly updates, free giveaways, and digital downloads. Go to timblacktv.com and contact. You'll see the tab for contact. Freedom 250 event on the White House South Lawn. They had heavyweight fighter Josh Hockett. Hockett or Hockett? Hockett. He was up here, he defeated Derek Lewis and then said in his post-fight interview with Joe Rogan, Michelle Obama is a dude. Oh, they don't like it. They don't like it. People are up in arms about this. They are pissed off, fam. Black people mad, man. And a couple liberals are also a little peeved. Black people mad, like they're fighting words. Come on now. Come on now. They're ready to fight. Democrats are pretending to be really upset about this thing. This revived the long-standing online conspiracy theory. The crowd had mixed reactions, some cheering, some laughing, some shocked, some silence, and Rogan moved on without addressing it. Good for you, Rogan. Keep your head down, son. Keep your head down, brother. Stay out the way. You know, they call you racist for a joke you did 20 years ago on your podcast. Trying to be edgy. Tim, don't bring that up. Don't do it. You know they gonna do it, Rogan. Once you seem like either you support Trump, or you act like you're supporting Trump, that's when it's like, that's it, racist.
For a long time, and the roots are in slavery, Black women have been slurred and made to feel that they were unattractive, made to feel that they were masculine, made to feel that they were, they didn't have the femininity that a white woman would have. And so there's this intersectionality between racism and sexism that was on full display at the White House. The crowd laughed at the statement, and the President of the United States smirked and never addressed what was said. That is beneath the dignity of the office of the President of the United States, and it's beneath the dignity of the American people.
Here we go. Man, I'll tell you, man, I'm not in the business of defending millionaires. Damn near billionaires out this joint. I don't do that. Now, I fight for working class people who don't have a fighter. You know what I'm saying? Who are not getting represented. We're talking about the most powerful woman in the universe. Michelle Obama is one of the most powerful women in the history of women. And she don't need me, my broke ass, trying to defend her honor from this guy who I don't know, who said a mean thing. I thought it was a joke. It sounded like a joke. It's not funny if it's your wife. But then again, everything's funny when your pocket's full of money. Oh, but look at Sonny standing up for the blacks. Hey, Sonny, have you called out the shooting of Cyrus Cormac Belton? And what has been your take on the conviction of Carmelo Anthony? Said that boy had premeditated murder. I wonder if Sonny was as choked up about that as she was this unknown white guy saying the same thing Republicans been saying for like 4 years straight. I mean, this is just a meme with a voice on it. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. I mean, if you've been online at any time following politics, you've heard this claim before, you've seen pictures before of people saying, hey, that looks like a guy. You've seen this. It's not new. This is some old shit played out. It's not even funny. It's so old. It's like, who is this guy? At least come with fresh material. Next time, consult with Tony Hinchcliffe. At least if you're going to be offensive, let it be something fresh. Because this right here, and even Tony Hinchcliffe's joke that everybody's been pissed off about, there was a guy on his show, I think he bit that from a black dude, Dave Lucas. Wasn't that a Dave Lucas joke? Ain't nobody talked about that? Nobody talked about the fact Dave Lucas made that same joke about George Floyd 18 months ago, and we got on his ass about it. It was a black guy who said it, and we kind of got at him about it. I covered it on my channel, and then I'm sorry, we off the rails. The point is, ain't nothing new under the sun, baby. That's all I'm telling you. Why are we acting like, oh no, we got to jump out the gym? You know, there's people starving. There's people living on the streets. We 30% of the homeless population in LA, and we're 6% of the population. That's right, 30%. And y'all talking about Michelle Obama, someone said some words about her at an event you didn't watch. And Trump did not look like he was like, yeah. He wasn't like he got up and did the dance. He didn't get up and do the dance, baby. He just sat there. And did one of these, you know, the white guys did the. That's it. He didn't pump his fist. Yeah. He didn't give you the fight. He didn't. But it doesn't matter. So we all know how unbiased and sticking straight to the facts CNN is. What they say on CNN, Tim Black?
Everyone's here with me on set. Sarah, why is it so hard for Trump to say that this was wrong when it was obviously offensive and wrong, and people who may share his politics are very clearly saying such?
I think expecting Trump.
I don't know if it was obviously offensive and wrong. Jokes aren't wrong. They could just be in poor taste or good taste. There can be jokes you agree with and jokes that make you laugh and jokes that don't make you laugh. I don't know about a joke being wrong, though, fam. I mean, was it wrong? I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, right around the corner from the White House, you have the White House Correspondents shit, where people talk smack all the time and nobody gives a shit. Oh, don't act like the White House is a divinity. You know, it's not a religious place. You know, in that White House, we make decisions to blow up entire populations. Let's not make it seem like the White House is this, glorious building of virtue, because it ain't. It was built by slaves against their will, and they never got paid. So let's not even go there acting like the White House. Oh my God, they made a joke about Michelle at the White House. You also found crack in the White House when Biden was in office. Remember that? And this is the same White House where Bill Clinton, I did not, did some things. All right, so let's not, I will not allow you to act like the White House is some type of divine space that's unvarnished, that is deserving of all this pristine treatment, and that now it's been sullied by the likes of this fiasco, because the circus that was going on outside of the White House at this UFC event is nothing compared to the circus that goes on inside that motherfucker. That's right. Y'all some propaganda buying mofos, man. I tell you, man, look, man, they buy anything, they just go along with whatever's said. So, Ern Burnett, shut up. Shut it up, Ern.
To say or do the right thing is useless and disappointing. Look, this is the guy who posted a racist meme of the Obamas depicted as monkeys. This is a guy who posts memes depicting himself as Jesus Christ. There's no decency or decorum in this White House. And when the White House was asked for comment, they also praised the performer, praised the performance of the fighter. They didn't comment on it. They had every opportunity to condemn it. And yes, it's nice hearing folks like Dave Portnoy and Dana White come out and denounce this attack. But it shouldn't take a pressure campaign from people on the right to get the president to do the right thing. You should immediately condemn something like this.
It's a basic, Jamal, what Sarah's referring to is Jake Tapper asked for a comment from the White House about Hokett's comments about Michelle Obama. And it was the communications director, Stephen Chung, who said, quote, he had a great win last night. He showed toughness and the ability to pressure his opponent both on his feet and on the ground. Just an absolute refusal to address the issue.
No, it's absolutely right. Listen, I believe in free speech, and I think the real test of your beliefs, your values, is when you can support somebody doing something even when you completely disagree with them. And the president having this event was absolutely his right, but it was him promoting a kind of brutishness and a coarseness. And this event, what this fighter said, which I don't even want to repeat, what this fighter said is the level of coarseness that we have to ask ourselves, is that what we really want for our country? A couple of days earlier, they did the weigh-in. They did the weigh-in at the Lincoln Monument.
Right.
In front of the statue of Abraham Lincoln.
There,
right? And they almost broke out into that sort of fake fight that fighters do right before, during the weigh-in. They're pushing each other around and other people have to jump in and break them up. And so I'm thinking, here's Abraham Lincoln, who in his first inaugural.
Ah, gosh. These people, man. Look. Much to do about nothing. This ain't shit. All right? If you want to be upset about something, be upset about the homeless rate. Be upset about the foreclosure rate. Black America, we got a lot of shit to be worried about. Like I said, I ain't in the business of defending billionaires, millionaires, or anything close to it. I just don't do it. You know, I think us as working class people, we got enough to worry about. We don't need to worry about trying to sanction people for words that are said at events. It's silly, it's goofy. And we all know that the wrestling shit is a circus anyway. It's a fucking show. It ain't, you know what I'm saying? It's whatever, you know? I mean, it's not, UFC is a little bit different than the regular wrestling, but I mean, come on, family. You know what I'm saying? Come on, fam. It's a thrill seekers event. We're not tripping off this, sorry. You know, I'm still wondering why Michelle Obama hasn't said anything about Cyrus Carmack Belton. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Okay, I'm trying to figure out why she hasn't said anything about real shit on her podcast. And I'm supposed to be up in arms about this? Nah, man, I'll let y'all do that. I'll let y'all lose your minds over dumb things. This is silly, you know? I'm not saying you got to cheer for it. I'm not saying you got to think it's funny. And none of that. Who gives a shit? Okay, I saw somebody post this. I think it was Uncle Luke. Uncle Luke posted something saying that Michelle Obama was suing. She ain't suing. Dude, she's going to ignore this dumb shit. She will not stoop to the level of acknowledging this nonsense. She's going to keep it moving. What have y'all not learned? This is for peasants. This shit, to worry about this, is peasant shit. It just is, man. The Obamas are on another level, fam. They do not concern themselves with this. Luke, I thought you knew this. You have money. You've had money. If you don't have it now, I'm sure you got more money than me. I'm not knocking you. You've been around people with money before. You know they don't be tripping off no dumb shit like this. Yeah, to stoop to a level like this hurt her would be just opening the door for more dumb shit to be said. Look, the Obamas didn't say anything about the dumb memes, the Jungle Book bullshit that Trump tweeted out or posted out on his app. They're not gonna say nothing about this, okay? Like, come on. What do we got our priorities on? I mean, what really are we focusing on if we focused on this? So I'm not gonna get into it. Let's just say this, man. The Obamas, they're good. And and not for nothing, fam. Let me also add, what's Trump supposed to say? Hey, what's he supposed to say? I mean, what does he owe Michelle? I mean, real talk. What does Trump owe Michelle, and what does he owe the Obamas? What does he owe you in regards to this? These motherfuckers lied about him and said he said the Klan members and not Nazis were good people. Remember that? They told that lie for a decade. And Obama continued it. I never heard Michelle come out and denounce it. Not once. And that's just one of the lies. I mean, there were several lies. Who bankrolled the IRS going after his ass? Who bugged Trump Tower? Huh? See, now no speaking English, right? I'm just saying, man, they all play dirty. It's just only one side get called out for it. So, like, if I'm not going to go, like, at Obama's, at them about the shit they've been a part of all day with the Trumps, then I'm not going to go at the Trumps for this. They didn't do it. The USC guy did it, right? So, have at him if you want to do it. But, to even spend a lot of time on it seems goofy to me. That's why...
All right, we're in the building, ladies and gentlemen. We are in the building. Round of applause to you. Round of applause to the family. Welcome to the Tap In. Glad to have everybody tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. Can y'all do me a favor? If you can retweet this, that'll be absolutely phenomenal. Y'all retweet the space. Let everybody know that we're live right now. And yes, I'm very early. I'm early. I'm in Vegas right now. I'm chilling in Vegas, sitting up here watching the Vegas Strip, chilling. About to hit a slot machine in a minute after I get a breakfast buffet some damn where. But I'm in Vegas. Shout out to Vegas. That's why I'm up early. And I didn't do my broadcast last night. I was at the slot machines last night, so I didn't get to do the broadcast last night. And a lot of people are like, hey, where the hell are you? I'm up here losing money. But I'm here. I'm here. What's going on, man? Y'all good? Everybody good? Let's chop it up. Let me do a real quick
roll call for some of the regulars that's in here. Real quick, let the lice supremacists waste your time with a lot of legal jargon babble, because they love to sit here and babble about reinterpretations of the law, and they will sit up here and go back and forth with you indefinitely. The white supremacists are masters at time-wasting babble. They'll sit here and practice white supremacy and then gaslight you and babble you in circles, and you're sitting up here babbling about laws with these people. Family, whenever it comes to us defending ourselves using lethal self-defense against a white assailant, that is never justified. Just understand that. And I've talked about this before. Excuse me. I want y'all to understand all that jargon and babble they're doing, that's to deflect from the fact that there's a common law in this country that Black people are never supposed to use lethal self-defense force against a white person under no circumstances. Just understand that. That's a part of the common law, ladies and gentlemen. And it's been that way since the very beginning. They used to be very, very open about it. Don't let these people sit up here, speaking of the Carmelo case, sit up here and talk about proportionate force. And man, if they don't stop, all of that is contingent on the race of the assailant or the aggressor or the victim. Conversations about self-defense, it requires an honest look about how common law plays out. During the colonial era, the implementations of all of the early slave codes, it was explicitly written in law. They were very open about this, that a Black person could never raise their hand against a white person under no circumstances, even to protect their own life. Okay, do you get that? That was the law openly in many places for centuries. That was the legal framework. So people want to spin their wheels pretending that we've evolved in some completely colorblind judicial system. No, the spirit, the key word is the spirit of those colonial laws, that's still the operating system of the courts today. The baseline rules remains. Black self-preservation against white aggression is inherently viewed as criminal. See, Black people, you got to put it in that context. Put it in the right context. See, they weaponize white fear versus criminalize Black survival. The legal system will they'll twist themselves into knots justifying a white person practicing, quote, self-defense against a Black person. A Black person can be unarmed, running away in the opposite direction, existing in their own space. In some cases, a Black person can be asleep, and if they unalive them, they'll say it's some form of self-defense and it's justified. It could be a child, a Black child playing in a park by himself with an obvious toy weapon, a toy gun, and they'll come up and blast that child, talking about self-defense. They felt threatened. So they validate that fear as a license to use lethal force. All you have to do is say, I'm scared of these Black people. And it's justified. The Black person don't even have to do anything to you. But just the fear of Black, which is not really a fear. They just know they can get away with it. So when a Black person like Carmelo Anthony is cornered, outnumbered, and physically assaulted by a white person, his survival instincts is immediately criminalized. White fear is treated as justifiable weapons, while Black fear is treated as an invalid excuse. And all of that disproportionate force nonsense, when these legal pundits and commentators talk in circles about Carmelo's case, they keep trying to use this disproportionate response nonsense. they keep trying to minimize the assault that Metcalf, the son of a suspected white supremacist, as we see with Jeff Metcalf, he's going on an alt-right tour. He sounds like the damn Grand Wizard. So we see the mindset of a Metcalf. Metcalf was raised in a home of suspected white supremacy. So he felt entitled to go up to a black person and try to pull a Jim Crow rule on him to make him move out of a space that Metcalf had no ownership on. Listen how they keep talking, how Carmelo should have moved. For what? He wasn't illegally placed anywhere. But again, that's the I'm white not say so narrative. See, the thing is, they argue that being aggressively pushed or grabbed doesn't warrant lethal force, but history shows that when a white person, a white vigilante, shoots an unarmed black person for arguing with them or walking through a neighborhood, the courts, they don't scrutinize proportions of the force. That disproportionate force argument is exclusively weaponized to invalidate black self-defense. Y'all remember the Zimmerman Trayvon Martin situation. Trayvon Martin was unarmed, but what did the lawyer say in court? They were like, no, he was armed. He was armed with his fist. His fists were weapons against that gun. And that jury said, yep, that's right. Don't let them talk about no proportion of force. Listen, even black law enforcement aren't really justified in using lethal force against white people. You understand that? Look at all the melanated people like that Mohammed Noor. He's not a foundational black American. I think he's Somali or whatever. But up in Minnesota, when he unalived that white woman, they put him in jail. There was another case, I think some black officers in Louisiana, they unalived somebody and they put some white people and they put them in jail. You understand? Black officers, they're not allowed to use lethal force against white people. You notice that? That's why you rarely see cases where they unalive white people. Very rarely do black officers use lethal force because they will get criminalized. Even when the citizen is armed and dangerous, that blue wall of silence, it crumbles. They don't give a shit about you black officers. Yeah, they know how to prosecute a black cop at the drop of a hat. It's not a blue wall, it's a white wall. The badge, that don't override the foundational written rule. No black person is justified in taking the life of a white person. Under no circumstances. Even when they started to let people become police officers around the 1940s, one of the rules was in the South, you can't arrest a white person. They used to tell them that. Y'all look that up. They would tell them, hey, you police that black neighborhood, but yeah, don't run up on no white person with that badge now. Just calm down. Just like, remember, and I talked about this before, when they were running up in the Capitol building, the J6s, they did a damn insurrection at the U.S. Capitol building. You couldn't be more criminal than that. And when Ashley Babbitt tried to breach the doors and she was told to stop, our good brother, Black Officer Michael Byrd, had to give her some of those hot things, period. And you know the white supremacists were very mad. They were mad. They don't praise him as a hero for stopping an insurrection. They don't like Michael Byrd to this day. They were trying to figure out a way to prosecute him, but they couldn't. He was completely justified in stopping that. They're mad at Michael Byrd today. And it ain't just the right wingers. You understand? No, they don't prop him up as no hero. Notice when black people stop mass shootings or whatever, they never prop the black people up as heroes. When it's a white person engaging in a mass shooting, they don't prop them up. Up in Vegas, remember, not too long ago, some white Hispanic dude went up there and tried to shoot up a grocery store, and them two random brothers just put the brakes on him, beat the brakes off his ass, stomped him out, swole his head up. They were sitting up here trying to figure out how they could charge those brothers, but they couldn't. It was for real self-defense. The dude was shooting up the place. And they were sitting up here talking about, well, could those guys be charged too? Really? You understand? So you're never supposed to, as a black person, defend yourself or defend the community from white aggression. You know? And they coordinate this media spin. You know, they'll spend hours talking about the weather, the tent, the track meet, the good nature of the white victim, glossing over the fact that a black teenager was physically assaulted first. You understand? They keep the way, if you let these people tell it, they make it seem like Carmelo Anthony was plotting. Listen to how they talk. They make it seem like Carmelo Anthony was premeditated. Why did he take a knife to the track meet? Like he used some kind of psychic energy. Why did he have a knife? Why did he have a weapon in the first place? If you let them tell it, Carmelo Anthony went to a track meet with the sole intention of stabbing Austin Metcalf. If you let them tell it, a person he didn't know that he was going to get into an altercation with Metcalf, but according to the white supremacists, they throw logic out the window. This is why they have to have all white juries in there, because the white supremacists get together and they just sit here and start lying, and that's a part of white supremacy. They lie and agree on the lie. Whereas black people get in there and say, hey, wait a minute, that don't make no sense. We're the sense bearers out of this thing. That's why they don't have us on there. We'll stop all those lies unless they get a tether to lie with them, and tethers are master liars too. The strength of white supremacy is them getting together and lying together and getting on code around their lies. You understand? And again, there's a reason why they're not showing you the video. If Carmelo was actually guilty, ladies and gentlemen, they would have released that damn video a long time ago. They're hiding that video for a reason. That video will show that Carmelo was attacked and assaulted. So they use legal gymnastics to frame Carmelo and any other black person as the initial aggressor, talking about he provoked the assault simply by occupying a space and defending his boundaries. You understand? And then putting this kid in jail for 35 years. So there's an erasure of black boundaries. See, under the system of white supremacy, a black person is not legally allowed to enforce personal boundaries. When Carmelo said, hey, touch me, see what happens, he was establishing a boundary against a physical violation. When that boundary was crossed and he was grabbed, his reaction, which was justified, was punished because he was black and the aggressor was white. So the message is that we, black people, we have to absorb physical disrespect, physical aggression from the dominant white society without retaliating. And the courts, they function to remind us that we don't have the right to bodily autonomy. And we're saying, damn that, we have a God-given right to defend ourselves. That's just not going to be the law of the land. We're not going to sit here and just let you unalive us, harm us, maim us, try to pull a Chud the Builder on us, because that's what they really want. They want us to get in the mindset of being disarmed so that they can send the Chud the Builder types to run us down and then ambush us. That's the name of the game. All of this stuff is in concert with each other. They want us defenseless, and they want us to second guess defending ourselves. So when they send these white supremacist vigilantes out here, we'll be sitting ducks, and that's not going to be the case. For example, in Georgia, I talked about this case before, the white supremacist man who shot up that family reunion. He drove by using the N-word, and then they ran him up out of there. And then he came back with an armed body armor and an AR, and then tried to spray up the place. And then a black Marine started busting on him. From what I understand, this white man who sat up here and did this hate crime, if I'm not mistaken, they let that man out on a $5,000 bond. If I'm not mistaken, they let him out on a $5,000 bond, ladies and gentlemen. They're signal boosting messages to these white supremacists that we're going to be very light on you if you do these vigilante attacks. You understand? So we got to get into the mindset of, damn that. You better defend yourself at all cost. Don't second guess defending yourself at all. It's going to be up and all the way up. Who's this? Let's get some people in here. Who is this? Ella Mafia? Ella Mafia, hop on, Ella Mafia. Ella? All right. Ella, unmute your microphone if you can. All right, let me get some of these people in here. Ella, y'all don't make a request if y'all not ready to get up. I don't want to waste time here. Let's get B-Dog.
Hello.
There you go, Ella.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Ella.
Oh, okay, it's L. That's why I didn't know you was talking to me.
Okay, what's up, Ella?
I was trying to send you something. Did you hear about the police that killed the lady's doodle because she was screaming because she was excited about the Knicks winning the championship?
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, tell me about that. What happened?
So what I read was that one of her neighbors, I'm not sure what race her neighbors are, but they called because they said they felt like something was going on, but she was just excited. Her family was over for the championship. And so when the police came to their house, I guess her dog ran out or whatever, and then the police shot and killed the dog. And I have a doodle myself, and doodles are very nice dogs. They're not even aggressive, no nothing, and they just shot and killed her dog.
Yeah, I saw a little clip of that. That's very unfortunate. Yeah, these people. Well, yeah, and the dog is a little black dog, so they're like, "Oh God, it's a Negro. Oh God!" So yeah, they're shooting anything black. They shot a black dog. These people have lost their minds. They're losing their minds. They're losing their damn minds, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, but I heard about that, and that's very unfortunate. Smooth, what's up, Smooth?
What's up, Flex? Yeah, man, they playing hopscotch with the law. One minute, as you think of Tulsa, Oklahoma, where we was kicking up their ass, they dropped a bomb on Americans. They dropped a bomb on their own people, and I don't think nobody went to jail for that. It's been other cases like I think the dude's name is Kendrick Jenkins. Kendrick Jenkins. It was the same situation. If you think about it, I don't know if y'all seen the documentary. He got beat up by 2 football players, and they put him in the mat, and they still closed that case. They know exactly what happened. So what they mad at is that it didn't go in their favor. I got these saying like, why didn't he fight? He did fight. It went in his favor. He ain't dead. Yeah. He ain't dropped. But I just want to throw that out there, man. Shout out to Flex.
Respect to you. Yes, indeed. Oh, yeah, the Sambos are Samboing it up, boy. The Sambos are really, really campaigning. All these Sambos out here trying to cape for the Metcalfs while Jeff Metcalf is out here spewing every racial epithet and watermelon felon. This man is out here sounding like Richard Damn Spencer, and you Sambos are trying to cape for that? What y'all think you're going to get, a golden butter biscuit? What you think you're going to get? Y'all not getting nothing from these white supremacists? You idiots. Now, I know most of you are tethers doing all that, so we know you get down, but y'all not going to get nothing out these people. They don't give a shit about you. They don't. Be easy. What's up, Be Easy?
Hey, what's up, Tariq? Could you hear me clear, bro?
Yes, sir. What's going on with it?
Hey, thank you for standing on business because, yeah, it's a lot of buttermilk biscuits going around with the Carmelo Anthony case, so I'll be concise and precise. They keep pushing that they asked him 15 times to leave. He had no legal obligation to move.
Right.
If it was such an issue, they had a civic duty to go get an authority figure, a teacher, a coach. Austin and his gang of goons tried to take matters into their own hands, which means the brother Carmelo Anthony had to take self-defense in his own hands. When you look at 130 pounds, if you take that across any sport, boxing, wrestling, MMA, 130 pounds is considered a super featherweight. 200 plus pounds is considered heavyweight. So Carmelo had a feckless defense where they didn't argue the disparity of force. There's a legal doctrine where it says that situations where individuals face an attacker or a significant physical or tactical advantage, it justifies the use of deadly force even against unarmed assailants. And understanding the disparity of force, it it talks about multiple attackers, size and strength differences, combat skills, and also age and physical condition. They said that he was surrounded by multiple larger athletic figures. So, yeah, I mean, this was a clear-cut case of self-defense, and I'll land with this. You brought up Ashley Babbitt. Ashley Babbitt's family was also paid reparations. They paraded her around as a victim. Suddenly why didn't she just comply? All of those type of rhetoric just fell by the wayside. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I'll land with that.
Yes, man, very good point. Oh, yeah. Ashley Babbitt, remember, this woman, they broke into the Capitol building. This beyond, they weren't just sitting under a tent. They did a armed insurrection at the Capitol building. Officer Byrd is yelling at her, stop, get back, don't come forward, stop, stop, stop. She kept aggressing. He gave her those hot things, and they sat up here and acted like she was a damn victim. Black self-defense don't exist against white assailants under no circumstances. Family, that's what you have to understand. And we have to understand, damn that. We're not going to go for that. You're not going to get some kind of royal immunity to just harm us anytime you feel like it. No. We have to say enough is enough. I don't give a damn about these Sambos out here with Carmelo shows. He should have just thought. He should have just put his... Man, shut up, Sambo. Stop it. These are people auditioning for damn Butter Biscuits. Stop it. B-Dog, what's up, B-Dog?
What's up, Rick? How you doing, man?
Good, brother. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Just wanted to talk about how I'm just with you with these Sambos, man. I'm in all these TikTok rooms, and there's just so many of my black brothers, man, just in there backing these Metcalfs in this case, just using the facts of the case that wasn't really a case because the lawyer didn't do shit. Is facts. Oh, it showed he said pussy. He told him, he threatened him, and they're just riding with it so hard, but so it's just so annoying just how many cats could just want to just try to get these Butter Biscuits, man. And that's just my thing I want to talk to you about, man. And then another thing, I'm gonna be out in LA Friday. I'm pulling up to the museum, just so you know. Hopefully you open.
Respect to that, brother. But yeah, this thing, the Sambo class, this case scared them. Oh, they didn't scare. So, any Sambos in here? Do we have any Sambos in here? Boy, this case scared your ass. If you are already a Sambo, oh, this case terrorized you. Oh, Lord, I was going to get 35 years if I fight. Oh, Lord, you can beat me. Don't hit me too hard when you beat me, though. Don't hiss me in my mouth. I got to talk and drinks with it, you know. That's what you sound like. Y'all scared. Oh, they done scared some of y'all niggas. Oh, they done scared you. Boy, they are tap dancing. Oh, that poor Austin Metcalf, his family. Oh, Jeff Metcalf. Oh, as a black, I'm sorry, Jeff Metcalf. And Jeff is out here talking about slavery, watermelon, baby mama. He's out here talking like an alt-right 4chan troll. Oh, man, God damn. Y'all hear this knocking on my door? These maids here in Vegas. Hold on, man. Hold on. Hello? Yes, come back later, please. Right. I'm sorry, guys. These late-ass Vegas maids, they're supposed to come early. I told them to come back. All right. Amira Gold. Hop on, Amira Gold. Amira Gold. Or Amira Gold. Are you in here? All right. Amira Gold ain't saying nothing, so I get you back. Let's get Mr. One in here. Mr. One?
How you doing?
I'm good, One. How are you?
Doing all right. I just first, when I think about this, the whole Carmelo Anthony, this is a big thing when it comes down to black men raising their children for the last 400 years. How they want to put their hands on us. They want us perpetually.
Mm-hmm. Oh, One, go ahead. Oh, what happened with One?
What's up?
916, Mr. 916.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you. What's happening, man?
All right, yeah, man. I just want to point out, when you're touching on the Sambos right now, the cold part about it is, to me, the Anthony family, with no disrespect to them at all, though, but it just seems like they're more similar to the Officer Tatum's or Jason Whitlocks and stuff, just as far as how, from what we've heard, how they move. You know what I'm saying? They moved out, the hood. They went with they went to the suburbs. You know what I'm saying? He surrounded himself with some multicultural friends or whatever you want to say. He let his guard down and he ended up like this. And the fact that they're just kind of throwing him under the bus is cold to me, because he doesn't have any background like he old dog or nothing. You know what I'm saying? This kid's good in school. Family got a great background. And to me, that crowd should be, more supporting him versus just kind of throwing him under the bus. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. All right. And I don't know, people keep saying about the family that bought a house and a car, and I don't, those are what a lot of the white supremacists are saying. That I don't think the family did all that. I don't think it's like a big money grab for the family. They're not a hood family. I think people are just saying stuff to try to discredit the family. So unfortunately, there's been a lot of vultures around the family trying to low-key sabotage him, but that's a whole different thing. On Code, Pan-African.
Hey, what's up, Tariq?
What's going on, man? How are you?
Oh, good. I'm so glad you're on Twitter.
Yeah.
Away from that TikTok begging ass platform. But I just want to say, like, you got people like Jamil Hill keep saying that Carmelo was emotional and reacted and whatnot. But I feel like that's just another Sambo cop and plea. He reacted like I would have taught my son to react the same way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You got to defend your life, whatever it takes, and then we'll deal with whatever later.
Yes, indeed.
That's all I got.
Yeah, a lot of these people who work for these corporate media structures, they're going to have to kind of tap dance a little bit, because, they know how the white people at their job feels. Yeah, let's be real. They know the energy at the job, so they can't go in there on some black empowerment thing. They got to go in there with the tap shoes, nice and shiny. You know how your coworkers are. They're passive aggressive, monitoring your energy. They're going there and say, hey, Shaquita, did you hear about that Carmelo case? What'd you think about it? They'll play that move. They'll try to act like they're neutral. God, this is just so tragic on both sides. God, it's just horrible how both families lost a youth. It's so tragic, and just people trying to make it about race. What do you think about it, Jamal? And they wait on you to say something. And if you say, hey, man, I think Carmelo was defending himself. Oh, okay. They go down to HR on your ass. Jamal just threatened me. I was just threatened by Jamal. He said he was going to stab me like Carmelo stabbed Austin Metcalf. You know how the white people are at your job. You know how it is. You don't want to have no aggression in there because you want a promotion. You want to get a raise at one point. If you go in there rubbing them the wrong way, you might not get that raise. So you got to tap dance a little bit. You got to pull a Stephen A. Smith. You got to pull your hairline back 3.5 inches and say, you know what? Carmelo was a coward. He was wrong. Yeah, you got to tap dance. Yeah, you know what it is. All right, this Mimi, we got crazy ass Mimi in here. We ain't talked to crazy Mimi in a minute. Now, Mimi is crazy as cat shit, by the way, guys. So just warning you. Mimi, what's going on?
I'm on the back channel. First of all, hello.
What's up, Mimi? Are you on any medication?
Let me tell you something. Hey, Nasheed. Let me look at me. Look at me. 60 million. Obama 840. What we gonna do about this shit? What we gonna do?
Amen.
You don't see the failure or the fraud. What you want to do? You want to make it pretty?
Mimi, where are your handlers?
No. 60 million. So that means the cleanup should be by Thursday. What you think? Wednesday. Get that shit out of the White House so you and Al Sharpton can go. Okay. The library, though, over there.
Family, when y'all have people like this in your family, make sure they got their handlers and make sure they got their medication. Yeah, Mimi is, something going on with her. Bless her heart. Bless her heart. Craziest cat shit. But yeah, y'all make sure your people got their medication and make sure they have their handlers. Because whoever's Mimi's handlers are, they just let her be on the phone all willy-nilly. Yeah, she has handlers because somebody has to pay her phone bill. So she ain't she ain't paying no damn bill. You go down to AT&T. Obama's in a spaceship. I sure like donuts. I saw a pit bull outside on a tree. What we gonna do about it? I don't know. She's not going down there paying no bills. Somebody's paying her bills for her. She goes down there talking that gibberish. So whoever your handlers are, they gotta make sure you're safe, make sure you're good, make sure you're bathing and brushing your teeth and all that shit. Okay. Okay. Let me see. Who else we got? Y'all raise your hand. Everybody raise your hand. Let's get the wizard. Let's get the wizard in here. The wizard in the building. The wizard, what's up, wizard?
Brother, what's the word with you, good brother?
I'm good, man. How are you, sir?
Man, you know what it is, man. I'm black and I'm lovely every single day, man. Black American strong, brother.
Yes, sir. What's on your mind?
Man, are we entitled to lethal self-defense? This the greatest question of all, right? Are white people allowed to just kill us with impunity? That's the question.
Yeah.
That's the question, right? Another question is, are we not Americans in America? I mean, I understand we black, right? But are we not Americans in America? Do we not have the same laws abided to us? What's the deal here, Brother Flex?
Yeah, very good question. Understand this. The white supremacists don't give a shit about America. The concept of America and what an American should be, we as foundational Black Americans, we embody that. We embody that. We embody the principles, the morals, and the foresight of what it is to be an American. The white supremacists do not. And they never have. You understand that? You have to remember, many parts of the Constitution, like the 14th Amendment, 13th Amendment, that was us pushing that, where equal protection under the law for everybody. A country where everybody's going to be treated equally. We have always pushed that. Civil rights for everybody being treated equally. We push that. If people want to immigrate here, immigration laws, that's going to be equal, not race-based. We push that. Not the white supremacists. They wanted everything to be about them. Everybody is excluded but them. You understand? They wanted to make everything about them, ladies. Hold on, who's at my damn door? Excuse me. Excuse me. They wanted to make everything about them. Hold on. Let me see. Probably my damn kids coming in from the pool. Who is that? No, I'm not done. All right. All right. Sorry about that, guys. There's a lot of shit going on. All right. But like I said, they wanted to make everything about them. They wanted to make this a white supremacist enclave where they can just do anything they wanted to do with impunity. You understand? They wanted a system where they can just come over here, freak off with each other. Go look at my movie Buck Breaking, because it was a whole lot of shit that they wanted to do over here that they had restrictions in Europe. They wanted to come over here and bussy pop. It was a lot of punks, European punks over here. It's a whole thing, man. Go watch our movie Buck Breaking. Yeah, they wanted to just do whatever the hell they wanted to do over here. Man, hold on. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, good Lord, Lexi.
Cut the shit short.
Good Lord, get your ass out of here. How come y'all done swimming so fast?
And we were there for 2 hours.
Where's my mother?
Because he been up there for a whole hour before.
All right, sorry about that, guys. All right, let me get a couple more people in here. Let me get a couple more folks in here. Y'all raise your hands, ladies and gentlemen. Did they clean your room over there? Oh, all right. Let me get Brother Sage in here. Sage. Brother Sage in the building. Sage.
Brother Flax, first of all, ain't nothing to be sorry about, brother. That's the wife and that's the family, brother. That comes first, as always, brother. Secondly, sorry about the other day. I couldn't my connection was bad and I couldn't get up here, but it was a couple of fallacies that were said the other day. In New York City here, you already know where I'm at. In New York City, we do not have the right to stand your ground. So which means that we have the right to retreat. And I'm a slow roaster. So basically, if a person is on the train and that person is yelling and threatening you, you have the right to run away. You do not have the right to attack that man or even subdue that man. You do not have the right to do that. Now, Texas is a little different. So my question is, how was it that Daniel Penny was able to get off on that, but Carmelo was sitting in a jail cell now as we speak? And with that, I'm a land. Much love to the fam.
Yeah, I keep bringing that up to these people because when I bring up Daniel Penny, they're like, well, oh, that's different, dude. That's in a different state. Yeah, it is in a different state that had a duty to retreat. You're supposed to get the hell on. You're not supposed to sit there and choke nobody out by the law. The first thing you do if there's a threat, you run first if there's a threat. That's the law in New York. You get the hell out of there first. You have a duty to you got to get away from the threat. If there's a threat, you got to bounce. Jordan Neely wasn't a threat to no damn body. Damn sure wasn't a threat to Daniel Penny. Daniel Penny snuck up from behind. You understand? Daniel Penny got him from behind and they said, yeah, well, he's white, so that works. So yeah, we're not going for these racialized laws, but they're going to be enforced based on race. MF Kush, hop on in. MF Kush.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you. How are you?
Good, sir. How are you?
I'm good. What's going on?
Good. My only question to you is, how do you feel about the Black Americans who now have managed to turn and say that Carmelo's parents are now grifting, and that now all of a sudden now the narrative is starting to switch? I just see a lot of people switching up their talking points and their turns and their viewpoints, and now the Black Americans that say that they once stood for Carmelo are the same ones that are now turning against him. How do you feel about that?
I feel like they're being cowards because they feel powerless. It's easier to turn on the parents and come up with some bullshit narrative about them than to say, hey, these white people are manipulating these laws in a way that punishes us and I can't do anything about it. You see, it's hard to say, hey, man, I can't do nothing about this right now. These people are manipulating the laws against me, and I can't stop them. I don't have the power to stop them. That's hard for people to say. It's hard to say that I'm in a powerless position. Say that shit. You're powerless and scared. Dr. Welsing said, listen, if you're scared, say you're scared. All right? And then work from there. It's okay to be scared. And it's okay to be a rider to say that. We're going to have to change some things. That's what I'm on. Yeah, they're using their laws and the institutions and the I'm white not say so law against us. And now they're being defiant about it. They're like, all right, yeah, we just did it. Now what? And that now what is scaring Negroes. Because they're looking at you like, okay, what y'all gonna do about it, Negroes? Yeah, we just railroaded one of your people into the jail cell. Now, what you gonna do about it? Well, Carmelo's family sure need to get some of that money back. Yeah, they're punking some of you out. I'm not being punked out. I'm looking at them like, yeah, we're gonna figure out something. Oh yeah, we'll figure it out. We just have to keep looking at the problem. When you look at a problem long enough, the solution will come up to you. The solution will come to you. You understand? And that's what people are doing now. We're coming up with ways to replace the system of white supremacy with the system of justice. So the first thing you got to do is acknowledge what the problem is. The first thing to solve any problem, you have to acknowledge what the problem is. Whining about Carmelo's family, that's you ignoring the problem. That's you punking out. That's you being scared. You don't even want a solution to the problem. Because now a solution to the problem, that means you might have to put in some work. You understand? Mr. Fennell. Fennell, hop on.
Hey, what's going on, Flex? How you doing?
I'm good, man.
Yeah, what's happening is that you got all these Negroes who are telling us right now, reverting back to turn the other cheek mentality and everything. And they're basically scared because they don't want to lose all that money that they're getting from corporate America and everything else. And so what we're just basically going to have to just do is just ignore them and just say, that hell, if I'm being attacked, I got to use my weapon to protect myself at all costs and everything else.
Yeah.
Seems like some of these Negroes are just sit up there talking about they want to go back to the 1960s where we turn the other cheek and just let these white folks just push us around and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got to stop that. I'm going to land my plane.
Real talk. Playtime is over. All right, Jamal. What's up, Jamal?
What's good, Terry? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. What's happening?
I'm good. Did you hear about that Marine Corps veteran brother there in Philly that pew-pewed at those police officers? He pew-pewed 3 police officers.
No, I didn't hear that. When did this happen?
This past Saturday.
Okay, yeah, I haven't heard that. I'm gonna look into that. I have not heard that. I'll look into it. Nikki the God, what's up, Nikki? Miss Nikki.
I'm here. I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
I can hear.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so the system of white supremacy has always relied on symbolism and messaging. It tells people where they stand without ever having to say words out loud.
Mm-hmm.
When I look at the case of Carmelo Anthony, I look at the killing of Cyrus Carmack Belton by Rick Chow, and then I look at the recent fake outrage over this Black woman's dog being shot by police. I can't help but to notice the contrast. Black children lose their lives, Black family lose their children, Black people lose their freedom. And in many of these cases, the response is justification and excuses. You blame people when they pass away, you say nasty things, but let a dog be killed and suddenly people of every race, especially the whites, they have no problem finding empathy and outrage and concern. For me, that's some type of a sick symbolism. It's a message. It's what they respond to and what they choose to respond to. And it's just a very nasty way of handling things. And I feel like they're trying to say that we are less than, and I'm not going to accept that. That's all.
There you go. Real talk. Thank you so much, beloved.
Good way, good way. Yeah.
All right, so this is our dear brother, Eric Franks, who is now deceased after shooting 3 police officers in Philadelphia. He succumbed to his injuries, and now more information is coming about who he really was and what really happened during that night. Peace and blessings, all praises due to the Most High. I covered this story yesterday, and finally, a little bit more information and pictures are coming out about the situation. I want you to watch this news story that gives a little bit more detail about who this man was and why he was at the location in which police ultimately took his life.
With developing news, one of the 3 officers shot over the weekend in Philadelphia released from the hospital today. The other 2 officers remain hospitalized following the shooting, which happened Saturday night. None of their identities have been released, but they are said to be stable. Meantime, we're learning about the alleged suspect, 57-year-old Eric Franks, a man who was well known across the community, who died in the shootout. The entire ordeal shocking so many who knew him. Police have not yet shared what led to the confrontation, which took place there at North 54th and Arlington Streets in West Philadelphia. That's where we began at 5 o'clock. I'm Jason Martinez.
I'm Sheba Russell. We want to head straight out to Jennifer Joyce with more from the community and the investigation. Jenny.
Yeah, good evening, Sheba and Jason. So as you said, there was one Philadelphia police officer who was released from Penn Presbyterian earlier today, who was one of 3 shot over on Saturday night. And what we know about him is he's a Philadelphia police sergeant who served 2 tours of duty in Iraq, now heading home to recover.
A strong show of support for a 39-year-old Philadelphia police sergeant as he's released from Penn Presbyterian Hospital 2 days after he was shot in the line of duty.
He's in great spirits, right? And he's luckily with his injury was a through and through wound through his thigh. So, all things looking forward, the prognosis is good. Part of this is just making sure that he knows that he's valued, that his work is important. And so when the men and women come out here and honor him as leaving, it's special for us.
A total of 3 Philadelphia police officers were shot Saturday night after investigators say they were confronted by 57-year-old Eric Franks. Police say officers responded to 54th and Arlington Streets for reports of a shooting. While they were at the scene, police say Franks approached them and became combative. Fox 29 News obtained this video that shows part of the interaction. As police went to arrest Franks, they say he drew his weapon and opened fire. Police returned fire, killing Franks.
It hurts because I know him in the community to be such a decent person. So it's really surprising, sad.
Fagan Leslie works at Franks & Franks grocery store next to Mingle Events, a company that Franks owned with his wife of nearly 30 years, according to the family's attorney, James Funt. Funt says Franks was a father of 2, served in the Marines, and as a Philadelphia firefighter for 19 years. He became a firearms instructor and a community activist.
Was involved in trying to make the community safer and to try to get rid of the scourge of the drugs that had infested that neighborhood. It worked, as I understand it, with both police and with his councilman on those issues.
Funt says Frank's son called him to the event space Saturday night after shots rang out on the block. He says a 16-year-old's birthday party was wrapping up at Mingle, and Franks wanted to make sure everyone was safe.
When he arrived, he talked to his son and then went down to the corner, presumably, I think, just to see what was going on, because, he was very involved in the community.
Then things escalated quickly, and the big question, why?
That family just really wants to know what led up to it and what happened. And if there was if their father is responsible, he's responsible. If there's something else that occurred, which we need to know that too.
And at a press conference earlier today, District Attorney Larry Krasner vowing to also get to the bottom of this, saying that he is standing in solidarity with the Philadelphia Police Department, making sure that these officers get the support they need while also conducting an impartial investigation for answers and accountability.
And I want to know how impartial that investigation really will be. Now, just think about this. Here's a business owner, a ex-Marine, a firefighter of 19 years, community activist who works with police and community members to stop crime in his neighborhood, and also a firearms instructor. So what do you think happened? Now, somebody slowed that video down, and it seems that they said that he may have even already been shot while he was tussling away from the police officers. But nevertheless, he came to the scene to ensure that the community was safe after some shots rang out at a party at his business. So he was coming to make sure things were all right. So what do you think those police did to make the situation end up like that? If you see that police officer getting in his car, he's not waving around like a hero. He's holding his head down like he's disgraced, like he did something wrong. So there's way more to this situation once again, there's no way that, this man would just come out, haul off, and shoot 3 police officers. I think that he was already shot before he shot the police officers. I mean, I went down his Facebook post, his Facebook page, and, there's nothing but love from people saying how much of a good guy he was. So I don't believe that it happened the way that they are saying it happened. Once again, my man slowed down the video and it says it looked like he was already shot before he started shooting the police officers. But we'll never know. Well, we may know if they hold a impartial investigation. But I just want to give my brother once again his flowers, even though we can't spell them while he's here, and put a face to the situation that took the life of our brother, our elder. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this video in the comments. Y'all see the number 919-587-7782. Thank y'all for liking, watching, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. And as always, I pray you have peace and blessings.
Coffee. Follow me.